The suited black man stood calmly at the tarmac entrance, holding his briefcase and boarding pass. But the gate agent didn't care. "This is for VIPs only," she sneered. "Try economy, sir." The man smiled, not out of amusement, but out of disbelief. If only she knew whose initials were on the tail of that private jet. 10 minutes later, alarms rang across the airline's corporate office. The man had made one call, and everything changed. What followed was a lesson in respect, power, and not judging a man by his skin or suit. It was a crisp morning in Atlanta, and Kendrick Wallace, a self-made billionaire and the CEO of Wingspan Air, arrived at the airline's private terminal he built from scratch. Despite his low-key demeanor and modest attire, Kendrick was used to commanding rooms, not through flashy suits or diamond watches. He believed in humility, not ego. Wait a second. Tell us where you're watching from in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. As he approached the boarding area for his company's Gulfstream G700, a luxury jet meant for VIP operations, a young white gate agent named Claire stood guard. She barely looked up before blurting, "Sir, this entrance is for private clients only." Kendrick paused. "I know. I'm boarding the G700 headed to New York." Claire scoffed. "That jet is reserved for Wingspan Elite. You're clearly not on that list. Please exit." He could have announced himself then and there, but something in her tone, the dismissal, the assumption, struck a nerve. He'd built this empire to break these barriers. Yet here it was, still breathing in his terminal. Kendrick calmly reached into his coat pocket and handed over his ID. Claire barely glanced at it, waved it away, and said, "Fake IDs won't help you, sir. Please leave before I call security." People nearby began to stare. A few passengers whispered and watched the scene unfold like a drama playing out for their entertainment. Kendrick looked around. Seeing the commotion, even the co-pilot of his jet didn't recognize him without his usual team or car escort. "I suggest you double-check," Kendrick said quietly. Instead, Claire called airport security. Moments later, 2 officers approached and tried to escort Kendrick off the property. He didn't resist. He only made a single phone call. "Mr. Bradford," he said calmly, speaking to his company's vice president. "We have a situation at the South Terminal. I want every Wingspan operation paused. Now." The officers stood stunned as Kendrick gave the EE command. Claire looked confused. "Wait, who are you calling?" But within minutes, the gate's computer system froze. Flights were delayed. Employees received system-wide alerts. The airline was shut down. The regional manager burst through the terminal door, out of breath and pale. He looked at Kendrick and froze. "Mr. Wallace, I'm so sorry. We didn't know you were—" Kendrick held up his hand. Claire turned white. "Wait, you're Kendrick Wallace? The CEO?" Kendrick nodded slowly. "And the person you tried to embarrass on his own runway, boarding his own jet." Her eyes welled with tears. I didn't mean—" "But you did," Kendrick replied. "You meant to humiliate. You assumed. You enforced your bias with confidence. And that's the problem." The 2 officers stepped back. The crowd watched in stunned silence. Kendrick turned to the regional manager. "Effective immediately. She's relieved of duty. I want everyone retrained, from executives to janitors, on respect, cultural competency, and anti-discrimination." He also stepped toward the stairs of the jet. Before boarding, he paused. "Your uniform doesn't make you better. Neither does mine. But mine came with building every inch of this airline. Never forget. Dignity doesn't come with a dress code." He boarded the plane. The engines fired. And just like that, the man they tried to belittle rose into the sky, carrying a message far louder than any slap could ever deliver. Within hours, the story went viral. Employees spoke of a new culture shift. Claire's dismissal sparked intense conversations across the industry. Major news outlets ran headlines like, "CEO mistaken for nobody, teaches airline world a priceless lesson." But Kendrick didn't do it for headlines. He'd faced obstacles all his life. He didn't want revenge, just growth. At a press conference days later, he said, "This wasn't just about me. It's about every person ever told, 'You don't belong.' Respect is not a luxury. It's a right." And in that, Kendrick didn't just change one airline. He began changing an industry. If you enjoyed this story and found it thought-provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful narratives. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Take care.